What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, Blue Blood Sports TV, back at y'all with another one. So, what's next for undefeated three-division world champion, currently the WBO welterweight world champion, who is widely considered the number one fighter in the world, Terence Bud Crawford? As we know, 8-division legendary iconic Filipino superstar boxer Manny Pac-Man Pacquiao is going in a different direction, as he seems to be on the verge of choosing 4-division world champion Mexican superstar boxer Mikey Garcia for his next opponent. With that said, Terence Crawford, he does have viable options. He has 2-time welterweight world champion superstar boxer Showtime Shawn Porter, who's number one in the WBO rankings and is the mandatory challenger for Terence Crawford's WBO World Championship belt. And he also has an undisputed showdown that's set to take place at the junior welterweight division between undefeated, unified, British superstar, junior welterweight world champions, superstar boxer, Josh Taylor. Josh Taylor, he holds the IBF and he holds the WBA portions of the belt. He's undefeated, 17-0, 13 wins by way of knockout. He's 30 years of age. He stands at 5'10" with a 69.5-inch arm reach. And he's set to take on undefeated, 26-0, Mexican superstar, junior welterweight, world champion, Jose Ramirez. Jose Ramirez, he holds the WBC and he holds the WBO portions of the junior welterweight world championship. So they're set to face off against one another May 22nd in undisputed match. The winner of the fight are both looking at an eyeing showdown with Terence Bud Crawford. So now this fight is a ways off, right? May 22nd is pretty far off. The last time we saw Terence Crawford in the ring was November 14th. So that's a long time to be inactive if Terence Crawford is going to seemingly wait for the winner of this fight. Because the winner of this fight will not be ready to face Terence Crawford at least until the end of July, maybe even August. So that means Terence Crawford, he will be out the ring for quite some time by that period of time, okay? So is Terence Crawford going to choose to sit on the shelf and wait for the winner of this fight? As Josh Taylor, he says, if he's victorious, he's expecting to fight Terence Crawford in his next fight. Jose Ramirez, he says that he's looking to fight Terence Crawford should he be victorious in his next fight. We know Terence Crawford is the last undisputed junior welterweight world champion to hold all 4 major sanctioned bodies after he defeated Julius Ndongo. So is Terence Crawford willing to sit on the shelf for that long period of time? Or is he going to go the route of taking on 2-time welterweight world champion Showtime Shawn Porter? Now, Bob Arum, legendary promoter, top-ranked CEO, he stated that if they couldn't secure a showdown between Terence Crawford and Manny Pacquiao, then their plan B was to face off against Showtime Shawn Porter, whom he said he met with Shawn Porter's father, trainer, and manager, Kenny Porter, on numerous occasions to discuss the possibilities of the two facing off. Josh Taylor says that he's expecting to face off against Terence Crawford in his next fight. Jose Ramirez, he signed with Top Rank and Bob Arum, so that would be an easy fight to make, and the storyline would be huge, okay? But the fact remains is Terence Crawford has been on the shelf now since November 14th, since he defeated, ironically enough, British former IBF welterweight world champion superstar boxer Kell Brook in his last fight, okay? So that means Terence Crawford would have been out the ring November, December, January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, 10 months by the time he next get in the ring if he was to wait for Jose Ramirez, Josh Taylor winner. And we're talking about the possibility of them facing off in August. Now, we know Terence Crawford is being patient, but Terence Crawford, he will be 34 years of age September 28th. So that means he would be nearly 34 years of age and out the ring for 10 months. That's too long duration in my opinion when you have a fight in Showtime Shawn Porter right there, and that's a bigger legacy fight. Now, obviously the storyline would be huge for Terence Crawford to face Josh Taylor. Let's say he gets the Josh Taylor fight, okay? Josh Taylor beats Jose Ramirez. That would be a huge fight, okay? Both are very big guys. Jose Ramirez, 26-0, 17 wins by way of knockout. He is 28 years of age, stands at 5'10" with a 72-inch arm reach. So he's pretty big himself, okay? But it would be better to see Terence Crawford move on from the Pacquiao situation and go ahead and negotiate with Shawn Porter, because Shawn Porter, in my opinion, is a bigger legacy fight than a Josh Taylor Jose Ramirez fight, okay? And then if he was to get past Shawn Porter, 31 wins, 3 losses, 1 draw, 17 wins by way of knockout. He himself is 33 years of age, just like Terence Crawford. Stands at 5'7" with a 69.5-inch arm reach. Last time we saw him in the ring was August 22nd when he took on Sebastian Formella, August 22nd of 2020. Okay, he put up a great effort against Errol Spence. It was unexpected, and Shawn Porter has beat and fought the who's of who's in the sport of boxing. Okay, Shawn Porter has arguably the best resume in the sport of boxing, win, lose, or draw. Okay, so that would be a huge fight. I would like to see Terence Crawford face off against Shawn Porter, possibly in June. Early June, mid-June, and then by that time he could face the winner of Josh Taylor, Jose Ramirez, in September. Okay, obviously the fight everybody wants to see is is Terence Crawford in a massive super fight against undefeated, unified WBC, IBF welterweight world champion superstar boxer Earl the True Spence Jr. Earl Spence Jr. seems to be on the verge of facing Cuban star WBA welterweight world champion Yordenis Ugas in his next fight, which would mean all 3 belts will be on the line in another unification bout. Then by the time he faces Terence Crawford, it would be for undisputed at that point in time, right? So if Terence Crawford is to go ahead and fight Shawn Porter, let's say in June, and then he fights, Josh Taylor, Jose Ramirez winner in September, okay? September, October time, mid-September, okay? I would say mid-September, then, you could have, at the end of the year, you could start looking and negotiating to fight Errol Spence in, let's say, December, maybe January, for undisputed. Now, those are 3 great fights for Terence Crawford, all legacy fights, because Shawn Porter's a Hall of Famer. You fight and beat Shawn Porter, that means a lot. Josh Taylor, Jose Ramirez, the storyline is going to be huge because they're going to be the last undisputed champions, the most recent versus the last, so the storyline is going to be huge for Terence Crawford. And more than likely, Josh Taylor, Jose Ramirez winner is going to go in the Hall of Fame because they're going to be undisputed at junior welterweight, right? That's speaking that they're unified, then they'll be undisputed. So that would speak volumes. Josh Taylor, he won the tournament, so he beat Regis Prograis, then he would beat Jose Ramirez. So he beat some formidable names in the sport of boxing, and then en route to be undisputed, that speaks volumes. So that would be a legacy fight and a huge fight, high profile fight for Terence Crawford. And then the Errol Spence fight. That would be, in my opinion, the perfect 3-fight layout. No longer does he need to sit and wait around for Manny Pacquiao. Manny Pacquiao is using Terence Crawford as a plan B, and Terence Crawford should be plan A with the biggest fights in the sport of boxing. So with that said, I would love to see this way out, because if Terence Crawford, he sits on the shelf for that long period of time, he's doing himself a disservice. Josh Taylor is saying he's expecting to fight Terence Crawford, as well as Jose Ramirez. They're saying they expect to fight Terence Crawford. We know Bob Arum, he has made mention of a possibility of Terence Crawford facing Josh Taylor. He even, Jose Ramirez winner, he stated that, if Terence Crawford wanted to wait around to face the winner of those guys, then that's a strong possibility. But like I said, in Terence Crawford, he'll be a free agent in October. Terence Crawford, 37 wins, 28 wins by way of knockout, never lost. 33 years of age, stands at 5'8" with a 74-inch arm reach. Very long arms, okay? Prior to that, Terence Crawford was out the ring for nearly a year. The last time he fought Igis Kavalauskas December 14th of 2019. He didn't fight Kell Brook until November 14th of 2020. So he was inactive, okay? And if you look at it, now he's starting to have a history of this, these long period of times, gaps in between his fights. So prior to that, before the Igis Kavalauskas fight, he fought April of 2019, and then he fought December against Igis Kavalauskas. Then he fought that nearly a year apart before he fought Kell Brook. Now, obviously, we're dealing with a global pandemic, and that put him on the shelf because there was no guarantee or no conclusion to what was going to be next. So that put him on the shelf. But I believe at this point in time in Terence Crawford's career, it suits him to be very as active as possible. And I would believe that the Shawn Porter fight would be his next fight. And then you go ahead and fight and wait for the winner or face the winner of Josh Taylor, Jose Ramirez, because then they would be ready, because they're not fighting until the end of May. So the winner, like I said, is not going to be ready until at least August, okay, before they step back in the ring. Anything other than that will be a very, very quick turnaround. You're talking about June, July, August, 2 months training camp. So you figure at the end of August, September, they won't be ready. Terence Crawford, at that point in time, by August, would have been out the ring for 10 months. So I just think that that's not realistic. And I'm expecting Terence Crawford to face Showtime Shawn Porter. But let me know what y'all think. Make sure y'all hit that like button. Drop a comment in the comment section. Y'all already know what it is. It's your boy Blue, Blue Blood Sports TV. Hate, like, comment, and subscribe. You haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the bell icon to get all the new notifications. Follow me on Instagram at Blue Blood Sports TV, all one word. Y'all already know what it is. Shout out to the entire LDBC. Shout out to New Media. Shout out to Black Media Row. Make sure you like and share these videos. That's all I got for y'all. Peace.